Rovina Irani, 22, a psychology student at Wichita State University and a shelter worker, lived with her parents in Wichita, Kansas. Her ex-boyfriend, 27-year-old Army veteran Dane Thomas Owens, was having a hard time dealing with the breakup. According to his relatives, he was jealous and intimidating, bragging about killing people in the war and telling a story about a grave for an ex-girlfriend. In correspondence with her brother, Rovina wrote that she was afraid of him and did not want to return to him. On October 3, 2016, Owens grabbed a .45 caliber pistol, got into his car, and drove to the Irani family's home. He parked nearby and entered the house through an unlocked door, hiding the weapon in a sling on his arm after surgery. As Rovina walked out into the hallway and turned the corner, he shot her in the head, took her phone, and fled, disposing of the gun and phone along the way. He did not call for help. Rovina did not come to pick up her mother from work as she usually did, and did not answer calls. The mother returned home with a colleague and found her daughter on the floor. The girl was taken to hospital, but she died from her wound the next day. Police quickly tracked down Dane Owens. During questioning, he admitted that he had approached Rovina with a gun, but claimed the shooting was accidental. The jury didn't buy it. In 2018, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and aggravated home invasion. Owens was sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 25 years, a sentence upheld on appeal.
It's about 7:52 p.m., so 1952. And today is October 3rd. I've tried to think in terms of date, then month, but I've always gone month, date.
Time goes by so fast, too.
And this is room number 3. Your first name's Dane?
Yes, sir.
How do you spell it?
D-A-N-E.
What's your middle initial, Dane?
T.
And your last name?
Owens, O-W-E-N-S.
Now I'm going to ask you a set of questions here that I ask everybody I talk to. Some of them sound a little strange to people because they're sitting there thinking, why is he asking me that?
Mm-hmm.
But I ask everybody.
Okay.
Have you been drinking today?
Yes.
Alcohol.
I had one beer.
You know what kind of beer?
It was that root beer stuff.
Was it good?
No.
Yeah,
I'm not really a drinker. I actually don't really drink at all.
Okay. When was it you took that? Do you know?
I actually had that shortly before the, what was it, like, I'd say like 6-ish.
Okay. Were you drunk?
No.
Okay. You're not drunk now, are you?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Did you use any medication that you're not supposed to use today?
Now comes the warm-up interrogation, the part where everything appears as calm and routine as possible. The detective records the time, date, and room number out loud, confirming Dane's first and last name and his sobriety. This isn't just for the record. It demonstrates on the record that he's conscious, aware of his surroundings, and confirms he's not drunk or high. Later, he won't be able to convincingly blame it on alcohol or I don't remember anything by asking simple questions like, what did he drink, when, and how much? The detective not only gathers data, but also carefully observes Dane's natural state, his usual voice timbre, speech rate, pauses, facial expressions, and movements. Here, a basic pattern of his normal behavior on a calm topic is formed. When the conversation shifts to the events in the house and the moment of the shooting, any changes, tension, slurred speech, a shift in gaze, will be easier to notice and attribute not to general agitation, but to the fact that he's hiding something or lying.
No.
Take any drugs, marijuana, cocaine,
I don't do any
meth,
drugs
heroin?
or anything like that.
You didn't get high today?
I mean, on the medicine, when I took all that hydro, yes,
Sure.
but I don't believe in doing drugs and all that stuff.
Okay. Do you feel like you're still high from the medication you took?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Um,
Okay.
Not as bad as I was. Of course, the candy bar and the water helped. But yeah, I'm still a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You read and write English okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you wear glasses or anything?
I do. It's kind of weird. I have like a 20/10 vision, but my eyes just get tired fast, and so it kind of just to help in the evening and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just to see clearer.
Okay. Do you know that we're police officers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, we're not in uniform or anything. But...
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, tell me this. Considering the pills you took, the beer you drank, do you feel like you are not able to make free and willing voluntary decisions as far as whether or not to talk to us?
I can make it. I can. I'm coherent enough for that.
Okay. Okay. You understand you're at city building in Wichita. You're in our interview room.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
talking to a couple police officers.
Yes, sir. I'm not okay. Space and offering.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that you understand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because we're going to go over your rights here in a minute. I want to make sure you understand those because I don't know exactly what all's going on or where this is all going to go. But I certainly don't want to later have someone say, why didn't you read him his rights or, something so like that. There's always somebody that's going to be looking over our shoulder that's wanting to know why we didn't follow what's our normal protocol.
I understand.
Which is what this is. Okay.
Here, the detective drives home the crucial point, Dane's state, and whether he understands what's happening. He's asked about drugs and painkillers. He admits he's a bit high on them, but otherwise is in good health, can read and write English, knows where he is, and that these are police officers. All of this is recorded on camera so that it can't be chalked up to he wasn't thinking straight. The tone remains soft and conversational. Through simple, non-threatening questions like these, Dane is gradually drawn into cooperation, making it harder for him to back down later when the crime itself is discussed.
Could you just initial right there? All that for me means is that you've read that, not that anything else. Okay. Can you read that next line?
Oh, yes, sir. You have the right to remain silent.
Do you understand what that means?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anything you say can be used against you in court.
You understand that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and have him with you during questioning.
You understand that?
I do, and I'm not gonna lie, I've never, this whole situation, of course, it's, it's a situation, and I've never been in anything like this, so I'm not, 100% sure what I'm, supposed to be doing, everything like that. I mean, I'm gonna be honest to the best of not to the best of my ability, but I'm not trying to hide anything. I just want.
Okay.
I want us to be honest.
Well, the statement's pretty self-explanatory, don't you think? What does it mean to you?
Basically, to me, it means that, if I need advice from a lawyer, I guess. That's all I can really take from it. Like, I have to.
It essentially says that, and it doesn't essentially, it says you have the right, it's your right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions about what happened today. Okay? And to have him with you during questioning if you wanted to. That would be your right.
Here, the detective formally establishes the main point. Dane is read his rights, asked to read aloud the lines about silence and a lawyer, initial them, and explain several times whether he understands the meaning. The video shows him nervous, but he still confirms. Yes, he's sober. Yes, he understands everything. Yes, he wants to be honest and not hide anything. Each yes is a small agreement, another step toward voluntary participation in the conversation. When questions about the shooting itself begin later, it will be harder for him to abruptly refuse to talk or claim he didn't understand his rights. By this point, the recording contains a chain of his own confirmations that he understands the situation and is ready to answer.
Well, Dane, like the officers told you, I think, coming up here, we want to talk about what happened with,
Yes, sir.
Rowena today. Is it Rowena?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And, I get, you've been telling me here the last few minutes that you want to be honest, you want to tell us, this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm more than happy to sit back and listen. Okay, that's the easiest way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess, can you give us a little idea what happened today?
Can I do background information?
Sure, feel free.
Okay. I'll pretty much kind of just start kind of from the beginning or whatever. We've been friends for 5 years, a little over 5 years. We started. We've kind of had this on and off dating, wanting to date kind of thing going on for the past 5 years, but it never worked out. XYZ, whatever. And the reason why I want to explain all this other stuff is it does have a purpose. I'm not just trying to waste time, I promise.
You're good.
Well, we've been dating, and it would have been 2 months from the 24th of September. It would have been 2 months, so we started dating like July 24th. And I guess I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. I mean, just day after day. I mean, getting up every day is just difficult with all the pain and just, friends getting killed, just the war trauma stuff. And it's not an excuse, but I'm just saying it's been like that for me. I've tried to find help. I'm an introvert, so I keep things built up inside.
Here, the detective gently steers the conversation to the main point, what happened to Rowena, and invites Dane to tell it all from the beginning. Formally, he takes the initiative, while the detective pretends to simply listen. Dane immediately launches into a lengthy backstory, how long they've been friends, how long something was going on, but it didn't work out, how hard it is for him to live with the pain, the trauma of war, the death of friends. He emphasizes that this is not an excuse, but essentially he's building the image of a broken, tormented man. The detective doesn't interrupt or argue. He allows him to speak calmly and see himself as a victim of circumstances. This lessens the gravity of his actions, and later it will be easier for him to acknowledge the fact of what he did. But against the backdrop of this story of war, pain, and inner breakdown.
I'm a very, this may seem very contradicting, but I'm a very caring person. I'll go out of my way to help anyone and anything, and so when it was last week, she was just kind of acting just kind of funny. It was really weird, and I was like, "Is everything okay?" Or what's going on? And then she just basically just kind of said, "It's like I just don't think." She's kind of doing the thing where she doesn't think it'll work out because of something way, way, way in the future. I'm just like, well, that's doesn't seem logical to me. Whatever, okay. And the biggest thing is, okay, can I write something down just so that way you guys can understand this whole, this kind of mess. So, Rowena, Rashad's her brother, and then he and Asha are married. And then Mizbah is Asha's sister. So, and I mean, I've been best friends with Asha and Mizbah. I mean, since I got out of the military, since I went back home here I went to Wichita State for a semester, and that's where I met them.
Here, Dane actively cultivates the image of a good guy. He emphasizes how caring he is, how helpful he is to everyone, and presents the breakup as if it's Rowena who's acting irrationally. At the same time, he details the connections within their circle of friends and family, showing that he's one of them and very close to them. The detective doesn't interfere. The more he asserts out loud that he's honest and caring, the harder it will be psychologically for him to suddenly switch to outright lying. It's easier to stay good and honestly tell everything as it happened.
And of course, Rashad, I met him too. And we've all been friends, good friends, everything like this. And Rowena's kind of been the drama one of all of them. And so once stuff has kind of been, I don't know, it's been picking up and acting weird for me for about the past month, and I've been asking for my friends, hey, would you want to help me, or, and specifically those two, they just kind of leave me high and dry or whatever, cool. And I'm not trying to someone that, and this is gonna sound weird, but so I asked Rowena, I was like, what's going on? And she was just like, oh, whatever. And I'm just like, this is the second time I've just asked you. I'm just clarifying what's going on. And then I would ask Rashad, I was like, hey, is everything all right with your sister? Just try to be normal. I'm not trying to create drama. I'm not trying to harass. I'm not trying to do any of that shit. And so, and he was like, well, do you disrespect my relationship with my sister? He can't really tell you. I'm like, I completely understand that. And so then I asked Rowena, I didn't even ask her, the other day, I just sent her a text, just because we've been friends for 5 years. I was just like, hey, what's going on? How was work? And then she just, right after that, blocks me from everything. And then Rashad's like, you need to just stop talking to her because, she'll press charges and all this stuff. I'm just like, I just asked her how her day was. She never gave me an indication of anything that was stop, whatever. I'm just trying to be your friend.
Here, Dane continues to portray himself as the one being unfairly taken advantage of and pushed aside. He explains that he's always been a good friend to the entire family, but now he seems ignored. Rowena is acting strange, responding evasively. Her brother and those around her leave him hanging, and when he asks her a simple, "How was your day?" she blocks him for no apparent reason and threatens to call the police. Thus, he presents his messages as normal concern and her reaction as inexplicable and dramatic. The detective rarely interrupts him and lets him speak for a long time. This isn't kindness, but cold calculation. The longer a person tells a story in their own words, the more details they're forced to invent and retain in their head. If there's a lie in it, it will later begin to get confused and fall apart, and then the investigator will be able to catch them out in their inconsistencies more easily.
I understand she didn't want to do this, whatever, fine, cool. And so then, I would try and ask, Afsher or Mizbah, hey, just to talk, just to vent. And of course, no, they didn't want to do it. And I'm just like, all right, I'm just like, all right. So I had no one really to vent to. And then I would vent to a couple of I tried to talk to my mom, and because my mom's good friends with all of them too. Mm-hmm. And so I would try and talk to my mom, like, hey, like, she asked me, hey, how are things doing? I'm like, yeah, not doing that well. She's like, all right, well, I hope things get better. And I'm just like, well, you could ask and, like, see what's going on, kind of thing, because I haven't been doing that well. And, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a breakup, but it's not the breakup that really is the problem. Like, whatever. I mean, yeah, breakups are hard, whatever. I mean, I didn't even see this coming. It literally was just blindsided. Okay, whatever. And so, I mean, I ended up drinking a little bit more. Drinking a little bit more for me is just drinking like once. I just drank a bottle once over the weekend. And, I'm already, we got into a car accident. My car flooded out. I'm having severe back pain. Like, just stuff kind of was piling up. And I was just like, and for the longest time, I still have just kind of like not know who I am. I'm still trying to figure that out. So to kind of get down to today, today didn't happen at all how I honestly don't know what happened. This morning I took my pain meds. Of course, I took a little bit more than I did.
In this passage, Dane continues to build on this theme. I've had too much on my plate. He laments how he found himself alone after the breakup, that neither Rowena nor her family, nor even his mother, helped him talk it out. He adds on top of that, an accident, a flooded car, severe back pain, drinking a little more than usual, a feeling that he doesn't even know who he is. All of this paints a picture of a poor, overwhelmed man whose back is against the wall. And it's against this backdrop that he reaches his key point about the day of the murder. He insists that this is not how I imagined it at all, that he himself doesn't know what happened, and immediately shifts the focus to the pills. He took a painkiller that morning, a little more than I should have. Important. After such statements, detectives often simply fall silent. The pause is oppressive, and Dane, unable to bear the silence, continues speaking, adding more and more details. In this way, he not only reveals his emotional state, but also pushes the conversation ever closer to the moment of the shooting.
And I knew that I had no intentions of hurting anyone, because I've never hurt anyone. At least I didn't do that. And so, I just went over to her house, because I knew what time she kind of got off, stuff, whatever. And, I thought her parents would be home, too, so it was not like, I knew she was going to be home alone. And so, she let me in, and I was kind of a little already, because first off, I did kind of a no-no, driving kind of under the influence, with my shoulder. And so, I was already maxed out with everything, and, we just talked for a second, and honestly, like, I don't even really know why, but I just had the gun, and it's not because I had it for her. I usually would carry one around just because, I'm just kind of paranoid like that. And honestly, right when, we were just I mean, it just happened so fast, just talk, and then, like, I didn't even pull the trigger or anything. Like, all I remember is it went off. And I was just like, what just happened? Like, I mean, I don't know what happened. I wasn't trying to hurt her or anything.
Here, Dane finally gets around to shooting, but clings to the "I'm not like that" image with all his might. He repeats that he's never hurt anyone, that he came to Rowena just to talk, and that the gun was just on him because he always carries it. Then the story becomes as convenient as possible for him. Everything happened very quickly. He didn't even pull the trigger. The gun fired on its own, and he supposedly doesn't understand how it happened. It's a stark disconnect. A man who calls himself caring simultaneously describes how the gun, on its own, shot the girl in his hands. The detective doesn't confront him directly, but leaves him in this contradiction, making it easier to disprove the story later with facts.
It went off, and I literally just didn't know what to do. I mean, I've been in combat and all that stuff, and I mean, I literally just panicked and freaked out because I didn't even, like, it was just in here. Like, I mean, I just had it in here, and like we were talking, and then, like, I don't know if, like, because of how, I was already kind of like loopy a little bit, if it just, I was already just woo, and she just made me jump or something, I don't know, but I wasn't trying to hurt her at all, and it went off, and I mean, it's not an excuse for anything. I mean, I don't know, this whole week has just piled up, and I don't know, I don't even remember it going off, and it went off, and I didn't know what to do. It's like, I care about her, but I know, I mean, as a friend, too, I wouldn't. I don't know.
Dane continues to cling to the accidental shooting theory and becomes completely emotional. He repeats the same phrases several times. The gun was just in my hand. Everything happened suddenly. He panicked. He doesn't remember anything. The pills made him absent-minded. Rowena supposedly scared him, and the gun went off. At the same time, he again emphasizes that he cared for her, like a friend, and never meant her any harm. This is an attempt to explain the tragedy not as a conscious act, but as the catastrophic mistake of a broken, troubled man. It's important that at this stage, no one directly challenges his "it came out of nowhere" theory. The story is allowed to linger so he can become more attached to it and recount it in as much detail as possible. Later, when specific questions begin to arise, where exactly the gun was, how he held it, how far away Rowena was standing, this same theory will begin to crumble under the weight of the details. Then it won't be just, "I don't remember," but a whole host of contradictions that he'll have to confront.
What happened after the gun went off?
I was just looking, I just saw her, like, she just fell down, and I was just like, I just didn't know what to do. I was like, this is not gonna look good no matter how I do this. I mean,
What'd you do right after then? Right after the gun goes off, what do you do?
I just stared at her. I was just like, well, I tried to see what.
Did you walk over to her?
Yeah.
What happened?
I just got overwhelmed with emotions. I tried to. I honestly, I thought she was dead. And I had no intentions of doing that.
Okay.
Here, the detective deliberately switches from how it went off to the main point. What did you do afterward? The same question is repeated several times. What happened after the shot? What did you do immediately after? Dane barely talks about his actions. His responses brimming with emotion. He just watched, saw Rowena fall, didn't know what to do, and immediately thinks it would never look good. He quickly concludes she's probably already dead, but says nothing about calling 911 or trying to help, only his own shock and fear for himself. By repeating the same open-ended question, the detective presses this point, forcing Dane to return again and again to the moment after the shooting, thereby emphasizing how he's evading specifics.
I haven't done anything ever in my life like this. It's, I mean, I've been in combat, I've seen people shot. But this is something completely different. And I know this is...
Did you try to help her? I mean, at that point?
I tried to see where it was bleeding. And I mean, from my knowledge, I was like, there's nothing I could do.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen gunshot wounds to that before.
Okay. Did you get anything to try to stop the bleeding?
Honestly, right after I saw that and I went over to see it, I just...
What'd you do right afterwards, Dane?
I honestly just freaked out. And I just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and I just freaking...
Okay. Right after you go over to her.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're helping us. I appreciate that. I know this isn't easy, Dane. Okay, get that, okay? We know this isn't easy.
Here, the detective asks a direct, damning question. Did you try to help her? Against the backdrop of his comments about combat experience and the wounds he'd seen, Dane says he looked at her, decided there was nothing to be done, and essentially admits no pressure on the wound, no attempts to stop the bleeding, no 911, nothing. Instead of action, only panic and thoughts of making sure no one saw this. For the investigator, this is a key point. A man who truly meant no harm and cared so much would instinctively at least try to save her, especially someone who had seen wounds in war. The lack of any attempt to help, despite him being conscious and able to function, strongly undermines the accident theory. The recording effectively paints a picture. After the shooting, he thinks not about her life, but about how it would look to him.
We appreciate the fact that you're trying to be honest. We appreciate the fact you're not playing a game. You're being a man. That's what you've done for the last however many years. And we do appreciate that.
What I did was, whenever I looked at her, and of course it just brought up all of them, like combat stuff that I've seen, and it just flashback, and I didn't want to lose anyone else, and so after I did that, it felt like forever, but it was just, it's a couple minutes. And I thought she was dead, and so I left.
Okay. Did you do anything before you left? Did you go anywhere else in the house?
I was just right there, and I wasn't gonna try and get away with it and all that stupid shit, like try and cover it up, because you can't cover that stuff up, and it was an accident. It's my fault. I don't know what.
Okay.
Here, the detective presses not with accusations, but through the image of a real man. He emphasizes that Dane is honest, not playing games, and is respected for this. Thus, for him, the confession begins to sound like a sign of strength, not weakness, and he continues to speak. Dane's approval lays out the crux of the matter. He approached Rovina, assumed she was dead, stood nearby, and then simply walked away. He defends himself by saying he wasn't trying to cover up anything and calls it his fault, but an accident. For a detective, this is critical. A man with combat experience witnesses a serious injury, doesn't call for help, and admits his own guilt. This sequence severely undermines the narrative of, I had no control over anything, it all just happened.
After that, when I was driving home, I almost just wanted to crash the car. I honestly was about to call the cops. But I've never dealt with this before, and I was too scared, even though it's not a good enough excuse. But and I wasn't trying to destroy evidence, but I just threw the gun away. But I know where it is if you guys need.
Where'd you throw it at?
It's over. I put it, in Rocky Creek, if you know where that's at. It's, where like where Whitetail and stuff like that is.
13th Street there.
I threw it in the water, but it's not really in the water. It's like right next to the kind of the bridge thing.
Okay. If I showed you an overhead picture of the area, do you think you could point it out?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll work on that in a minute. What kind of gun is it?
It was a 45.
You know what kind?
I think it was a Smith & Wesson.
Here, Dane openly describes his behavior after his escape. On the way home, he wanted to crash the car, almost called the police, but got scared. In other words, he clearly understands what happened and that the right step is to go to the authorities, but he consciously chooses not to. Instead, he discards the gun near Rocky Creek, and he does so with such awareness that he can precisely specify the location and type of weapon. The detective reacts calmly and matter-of-factly. He doesn't press emotions, but rather clarifies details. Where exactly? In what part of the body of water? What caliber and brand? On the recording, this is very telling. The man who calls the incident an accident doesn't offer assistance or surrender after the shooting, but deliberately disposes of the murder weapon. This is no longer a picture of accidental discharge, but the logic of someone who understands their guilt and is trying to cover up its traces.
Did you try to contact her at school?
It hurt, but I respected what she wanted, and I mean, this was like the first kind of day I wasn't like, sorry, but balls deep in just pain and everything, and because originally she was supposed to because my parents were out of town, she was supposed to take care of me on Sunday, so that's why I thought she might be able to, at least hear me out, just post surgery.
So at some point, though, you drive over to her house? To her folks' house?
Yeah, 10... I'm trying to think what time that... It was probably 11:30, and I sat in my truck, not at our house, but I just sat in my truck for a while because it was just
in the neighborhood there? Or?
It was just very intimidating where I didn't want to.
You know whereabouts you were sitting at?
When you go into the neighborhood, you can turn right, and it goes all the way down to her house, and I kind of just parked before you turn right to go all the streets all the way down.
Okay.
Because I have to, just gain composure and think about stuff before, because I'm an emotional person.
Okay. You think that was what time you think you pulled into the neighborhood?
About 10:15, 10:30 or something like that.
Here, Dane again tries to portray his visit as a peaceful attempt at conversation. He says he respected her decision, but after the surgery, he drove to her parents' house, hoping she would at least listen. At the same time, he reveals an important detail. He arrives early, parks not near her house but at the entrance to the block, sits in his car, collects his thoughts, and only then approaches. This no longer seems like a casual visit, but rather like a planned approach. The detective responds by clinging to the time and route, what time he entered the area, where exactly he was standing, when he approached. This tests not only his memory, but also his honesty. A real story usually draws out specific details, while a fictitious one begins to drift in time. Dane's stumbling over something like 10:15 through 10:30 and descriptions reveals that he's trying hard to disguise his pre-planned visit as an emotional but kind attempt at conversation.
As you walk up to the front door, because as I recall, you might have to walk up some steps. Okay. Where's the gun at then?
I just have it
Still in the sling?
I just have it in my sling.
When do you take it out of your sling?
I mean, it's the best way to kind of ground it is it was just like it was kind of out already, and I just kind of had it like just pointing down in here, so it would be like
It was in your right hand?
Yeah.
So it's kind of in your hand in the sling?
Not in my hand, but it was like it was in here, and because I shoot left-handed, and
so was it? I guess was it muzzle into the sling? So like
muzzle,
a cross-draw shoulder or a cross-draw holster?
The muzzle was facing out.
Okay.
It's not gonna help, but
Oh, no, it's all right. It is what it is, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. Okay. So did you have the gun in your right hand? It was just laying next to the hand.
It was in my hand, but you came around and just startled me. Just pulled it.
Pulled.
Here the detective strips away the emotion and nails down the most important detail, the mechanics of the shot. He details, step by step, exactly where the gun was, which hand it was in, how it was positioned in the sling, and which way the barrel was pointed. Ultimately, Dane himself admits, the gun was actually in his hand, in a sling, the barrel pointed outward, and he was firing with his left hand. This breaks the image of, it just happened. The more specifics he confirms, yes, the gun was there. Yes, the barrel was angled this way. Yes, it was in his hand. The more obvious it becomes that the gun's discharge in this position no longer looks like a random pop, but like a controlled action for which he is responsible.
The trigger or pull the gun?
Yeah.
How did you shoot it?
It was like...
With your right hand? Okay.
Yeah, and I had it aimed down, and so when I walked in, because I know, well, when she pretty much came around the corner, she just jumped, and just kind of freaking me out. So I went like that. It was just almost like a natural reaction.
How many times did you fire?
Just once.
So she comes around the corner, you walk in, you have the gun in your sling with your hand. I mean, your hand's holding it, I assume. Okay. And you must have your finger near the trigger.
Yeah, I never put it on it, just for kind of like the fire muzzle or trigger safety thing, and then it's just when she kind of just, I don't even know how we startled each other, but then it
just goes off.
Just pull it.
Why did you walk in?
I was on the medicine and I wasn't thinking logically.
I mean, what did you expect to occur when you walked in? She wasn't expecting you, was she? I mean, you hadn't made a plan to come over and talk to her.
No, because she would never talk to me or anything like that.
Did you knock on the door first?
No, and I thought letting Max in would be like a sign that.
Here, the detective simultaneously attacks shooting technique and common sense. First, he forces Dane to describe the moment, verbatim. The gun is in a sling, practically in his hand. The barrel is out. His finger is on the trigger. Rovina comes around the corner. He jerks his hand. The shot goes off. In words, it's a reflex, and I didn't pull the trigger, but the description makes it clear. The gun is completely under his control, leaving almost no accident in it. Secondly, the detective raises the question, why did he even enter? Dane himself confirms. She wasn't expecting him, didn't want to talk. There was no meeting. He didn't knock, simply walked into the house with a gun in his hand, hoping the dog would signal his arrival. Ultimately, his own story reveals itself. This is no longer a peaceful visit gone wrong, but an uninvited break-in with a gun, where the pure accident theory becomes increasingly tenuous.
How many times had you been over to the house before?
To her house, like 3 or 4 times.
Okay. Always with her?
Help change her oil. I mean, we'd hang out, play with the dogs and stuff like that.
Okay. So you walk up, park down the block, and you walk up. Why didn't you just pull up, I guess, to the house? What did you think would happen if she saw you or saw your car?
Because she probably, well, I didn't know if her dad was gonna be there, and it was just gonna be like an automatic, just call the cops, honestly.
Okay.
I honestly don't know what.
So you walk up, you walk in, and are we just talking almost instantly? You hear her get up, she comes around the corner, as you said, and the shot goes off? Or is there some time that you're in the house? How far into the house do you get, do you think?
Not even like past that stair. Like, I wasn't even trying to aim. I wasn't anything like it.
Okay. Did the gun function like it was supposed to? I mean, did it malfunction when you looked at it later? What did it look like?
No, this just isn't helping my case, but whenever I carry a pistol, I always carry it loaded, because the one time you know it's not loaded is when you're gonna need it.
The detective cuts the innocent visit theory to the bone. When asked why he parked outside the house, Dane himself says that if Rovina or her father had seen his car, they would have called the police immediately. In other words, he knew perfectly well that they weren't expecting him there and didn't want to see him. So he approached stealthily, on foot, with a loaded pistol. Then he's harshly grounded in technique. He admits he only entered the hallway. The shot fired almost immediately. The gun didn't misfire, worked perfectly, and he always carries it loaded, because it's not needed unloaded. Ultimately, the recording clearly shows a man who knows he's not wanted parks far away, stealthily enters the house, and enters with a pre-loaded gun. This scene looks less and less like a random explosion, and more like a deliberate, risky action for which he is responsible.
And I've had those experiences before, and so I always just carry it like that.
You think it's a Smith? Okay. Is it a double action only? Does it
There's
have
no
a
safety on it.
Does it have a hammer?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no, it's the...
Or is it more like a Glock where it's just doesn't have a hammer or anything?
I think it has a hammer, but it's more of like a sliding.
It's still an automatic.
Yeah. But
Can you cock it with your thumb?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No. And plus, unless you're
Do you know what the model number on it is? Or what any of the writing on the gun itself says?
The only thing I know is I think it says Smith and Wesson.
Okay. What color is it?
Black.
Okay. You know how many rounds it holds in the magazine?
12.
Okay. And then you said it was a 45. Do you know what brand of ammunition you shoot?
I've had the same ammunition for like a long time because I just don't shoot it.
Okay. So you walk up, you go in the door, just take a step in. She's right there, and the gun goes off.
And I'm pulling the trigger.
Okay. Why? I mean, honestly, between us here. I mean, right now, man. Why?
I mean, I pretty much accepted the fact that we were done. I didn't.
That doesn't make it easier.
No.
Here, the detective isn't interested in the interrogation itself, but in the overall picture. The weapon makes it clear. Dane knows his pistol well, always carries it loaded, and handles it confidently, something that doesn't fit well with the "I didn't pull the trigger, it just went off" narrative. The next question, why did you even go there, is key. If he'd accepted the breakup, why did he go uninvited, park far away, enter the house without knocking, and do it with a loaded gun? His actions no longer look like a coincidence, but like a calculated risk. He said he hadn't planned anything, but his behavior suggests he was at least prepared for a rough turn of events and is now trying to hide his intentions behind pills and, "I wasn't thinking logically."
Wouldn't use it, but then if, just listen to me for a second and I'll leave kind of thing. I don't even know.
Make her sit still, not call the police, but listen to you.
Not even that. Just
Okay.
listen. Just listen for 5 seconds.
I guess, and that's what I'm at. I guess, why do you need the gun to get her to do that? I mean, I understand your concern that you show up and they're just instantly going to call the cops. Her brother told you, right? If you don't quit pestering her, she might press charges on you. Didn't he tell you that?
Yeah, and that's what was so weird, was because it was like, all I did was have to ask her, "Hey, like, how was your day?" Like, and this is like in the evening, and I asked her, how's work? And she just tells him that, and it's like, she didn't even tell me.
Okay. Now, when you took the pills this morning, was that at your mom's house there? Okay. Then you drove around for a while, trying to just think about how you were going to approach this, or what were you thinking about then?
I wasn't trying to hurt anyone, that's for damn sure, but...
Tell me this. Did it cross your mind that you were going to kill her? When you walked in to the house, when you walked up to the house and when you walked into the house, from what you're telling me, you had the gun so that you could convince her to take you serious, to listen to you. Okay. But that's why you had the gun with you, was to confront her so she would listen to you. Is that right? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I just want to know what you're telling me, okay?
I don't want to hurt people. I just want people to fuck me over. All I do is help people. I go out of my way to help people. in Manhattan, I'll go pick up a homeless person and take him home, let him shower, and get him food. I mean, that's what I've tried to get help through the VA. Fuck them, they don't help me.
Here, the detective finally gets to the heart of the matter. Why did he need the gun in the first place? By asking, why the gun? If you just wanted her to listen to you, he gently nudges Dane toward the heart of the matter. Dane essentially admits he needed the gun to ensure Rovina would take him seriously and not call the police, meaning it's no longer a foil, but a tool for pressure. To the direct question, did you think you'd kill her when you entered the house? He answers, no. But this no is set against the backdrop of his pre-existing knowledge. His brother warned him about possible charges. Her house is off limits to him, and yet he still goes there armed. In the final scene, Dane again retreats into the image of the good guy, whom everyone is just using. He talks about helping the homeless, how the VA doesn't treat him, how he only helps people and they hurt him. This is telling for a detective. He's not just describing the facts, he's actively justifying himself, trying to restore his inner balance. I'm good, so what I did was a mistake, not evil. The more he recites these justifications, the more obvious it becomes that he realizes that responsibility for what happened lies squarely with him.
Dane, tell me this. So let me get this correct, okay? You walk into the residence, all right? You got the gun, you showed us right here in your right hand.
Yeah.
You kind of go around the corner, and she comes around the corner. There are no words exchanged between you guys. She says she kind of startles you, and you kind of startle her, but there's no words exchanged, and then the shot goes off. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is over kind of by where the stairs are?
This is like, yeah, once I come in, it's like right there, and she's like coming around the kitchen, so she's like right by the table. And so I'm like on the other side of the stairway, kind of like where that like couch is.
And I wasn't in there, so how far, basically, when this happens, how far are you guys away from each other? Is it from you to I, or further, or?
Like, this is like, I walk in, the stairway is right here, and then there's like a little couch right here, and then the table would be like that corner, like a little bit farther.
Yeah, so roughly 7-8 feet, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I'm gonna ask you if you would do is, I don't know how old this thing is. This is an old part of a pellet gun. Careful you don't want to pinch yourself with it because it doesn't stay together all the time. Can you show us how you were holding the gun?
So like, ow, that hurt. Like, probably I can have some of that, so it's probably just like that.
Pretty similar to that. Okay. And if you could kind of stand up, pretend like right here's the doorway as you're coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, so you step in enough that you can close the door,
Mm-hmm.
and then
So I was holding it like that.
Here, the detective moves from words to the body, and this is where Dane's version begins to crumble. First, he asks him to describe the distance again, where he's standing, where Rovina is, how many steps are between them. Dane shows a diagram. He's in the hallway by the stairs. She's at the kitchen table. The distance isn't far. Then the detective takes out a toy pistol and asks him to demonstrate how he held the weapon and how he stood when it fired. This is a critical technique. When a person not only speaks but also mimics the body movement, motor memory, not a prepared narrative, comes into play. And at that moment, the most important thing becomes clear. The grip, the direction of the gun, the stance. Everything looks like a deliberate aiming, not a chaotic, frightened swing. His demonstration contradicts his own statements about a random jerk, and I didn't even press the trigger. For the detective, this is a golden moment. The footage contains not only his version of events, but also a visual reconstruction that highlights how the shot looked not like an accident, but like the controlled movement of a man confidently holding the gun.
So I close it, and then like she popped around, and I just don't know what happened. She was just like that, like it jerked up, and then it just my finger just slipped and just.
Okay. Okay. Now, the way you're showing in there was you didn't have a grip on the gun?
Yeah, like I wasn't. Just because, like, I'm not gonna walk in there kind of like that, but yeah, like I had it, like.
You had it gripped, but still kind of pointed downward. And then as she came around,
It just slipped, like I jerked up out of accident. And
okay.
At this point, Dane tries one last time to stretch the accidental version. He describes how he walked in, closed the door, Rovina jumped out, her hand jerked upward, and her finger accidentally slipped off the trigger. He also confirms that the pistol was in a normal grip, the barrel pointed down, meaning he held the weapon in a controlled manner, not dangling in the sling. For the detective, these aren't just words anymore, but a picture that can be compared with real data. The bullet's trajectory, the position of the shell casing, the layout of the room. And here's where the legend begins to crumble completely. His story is logically coherent, but it doesn't align well with the physics of the shot or the space of the scene. It seems like the man isn't recalling the actual movement, but constructing a convenient story that explains the bullets in Rovina's head as an unfortunate jerk of his hand, even though everything, from the grip to the distance, speaks of a controlled, targeted shot. Ultimately, everything Dane said during interrogation worked against him. The jury found him guilty not of an accident, but of first-degree murder and aggravated home invasion. For this, he received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 25 years, plus an additional 43 months for the home invasion. His lawyers tried to blame it on PTSD and an accidental shooting, but neither the jury nor the Kansas Supreme Court believed it. Testimony, behavior after the shooting, and the evidence showed that Dane Owens knew what he was doing and understood his guilt.